There was a time when a diesel tractor meant more than just power. Out here in the Midwest, it meant security. It meant getting the crop in, feeding the cattle, and keeping a family farm moving when the weather turned rough. Today, we're counting down 10 unforgettable diesel tractors of the 1950s, machines that earned their place the hard way. And the closer we get to number 1, the more personal these memories are going to feel. Number 10. The Farmall 400 Diesel. Picture that red paint sitting by the shed at first light, quiet for the moment, waiting for another long day. For a lot of farm families, the Farmall 400 Diesel felt like a sign that times were changing, but not too fast. It still had that familiar Farmall look and feel. It still felt like a tractor a man could trust. But now, there was a little more confidence in it, a little more strength, and a little more staying power when the load got heavy. This was the kind of tractor that fit naturally into daily life on a Midwest farm. One day, it might be out in the row crops. The next, it could be helping through planting. And after that, it was still useful enough to keep working through the rest of the season. That mattered back then. Most family farms did not have room for machines that only did one job. A tractor had to stay busy. It had to earn its keep every week, not just look good sitting in the yard. And that is exactly why the Farmall 400 Diesel belongs on this list. It arrived at a turning point when many farmers were beginning to move beyond old gasoline habits and put real trust in diesel power. It gave them durability, thrift, and honest field usefulness, without taking away that familiar Farmall character they already knew by heart. And if the Farmall 400 Diesel felt like a dependable step forward, the next tractor on our list brought diesel power with a very different kind of personality. Number 9. The Allis-Chalmers D17 Diesel. Now we bring in a different color and a different kind of feeling. For a lot of folks, the sight of an orange Allis-Chalmers sitting at the edge of a field still brings back a clear picture of Midwestern farm life. The D17 Diesel looked like the kind of machine that was ready before the day even started. It did not have to show off. It just had to be there, morning after morning, whenever the field work needed to move. This was the kind of tractor that fit farms where practicality mattered more than talk. It could handle field work, utility jobs, and the steady rhythm of a family operation that rarely slowed down. And on farms like that, versatility meant a great deal. A tractor that could move from one job to the next without complaint often became the one people remembered best. Not because it was flashy, but because it became part of everyday life. That is a big reason why the Allis-Chalmers D17 Diesel belongs on this list. It had the kind of balance farmers respected. It was powerful, but it did not feel oversized. It was capable, but it did not feel complicated. And even as it brought a more modern diesel edge, it still kept that direct, honest feel that meant so much to working people. It was the kind of tractor a man could work hard, rely on fully, and still speak of warmly many years later. But if the D17 Diesel was the dependable all-around hand, the next tractor on our list felt more like a true heavyweight, built to dig in and pull with pure determination. Number 8. The Case 500 Diesel. Now the tone turns broader, heavier, and a little more serious. The Case 500 Diesel had the kind of presence older farmers still notice right away. It looks like a tractor built for long pulls, rough ground, and those hard days when the work in front of you did not care whether you were tired. Just seeing one brings back the feel of open fields, dark Midwestern soil, and a machine leaning into the load without any fuss. On many family farms, a tractor like this meant confidence. It was not just about getting by. It was about having enough machine under you to handle the bigger jobs with less worry. And in those years, when every dry day mattered and every weather window counted, that meant everything. A tractor that could pull steady, stay calm, and keep moving gave a family one less thing to fear when the season was already closing in. That is why the Case 500 Diesel belongs on this list. It fit the Midwest the way a good work coat fits a farmer, plain, strong, and made for real use. It was not flashy, it was not soft, and it was never built just to be admired. It earned respect the only way a tractor could back then, by what it did in the field, season after season. And if the Case 500 felt like raw pulling confidence, the next machine on our list brought a quieter kind of strength, the kind many families trusted year after year. Number 7. The Massey-Harris 555 Diesel. The Massey-Harris 555 Diesel feels like one of those tractors folks remember, not because it made the most noise, but because it stayed with them. You can almost picture one sitting near a windbreak, dust on the tires, waiting for one more job before supper. There is something steady and honest about a machine like that. It does not ask for attention. It simply looks like it belongs on a real working farm. And on a family farm, that kind of dependability meant everything. The 555 often lived in that middle ground farmers needed most. It was big enough to matter, reliable enough to count on, and familiar enough that everyone knew what it was there to do. It was not bought to be polished up and admired. It was brought to work, plain and simple. And more often than not, that work had a great deal to do with whether the farm stayed on schedule through a busy season. That is why the Massey-Harris 555 Diesel earns its place on this list. It stood for the kind of diesel progress farmers respected most: strong, practical, and built for useful work instead of bragging rights. It fit the 1950s perfectly, a time when a tractor's value was measured by the seasons it helped carry and the jobs it got done. But if the 555 Diesel gave a family that dependable farm feeling, the next tractor on our list brought even more authority, the kind that could make a man feel he had bought exactly the right machine. Number 6. The Farmall 450 Diesel. Now that red paint comes back, but this time, it feels like more than a familiar color. It feels like progress. For a lot of farm families in the Midwest, the Farmall 450 Diesel was not just another tractor rolling into the yard. It felt like the next smart step. It still had that trusted Farmall character people already knew, but it brought a little more strength, a little more confidence, and a little more easy to those hard days when the work seemed endless. On row crop farms, that mattered. A tractor had to do more than look good or sound good. It had to be useful, day after day, season after season. The Farmall 450 Diesel fit that life the way a good pair of work gloves fits a farmer's hands. It looked right in the field. It handled right on the job. And it gave families the sense that they were keeping up with the times, without letting go of what had served them well before. That kind of balance meant a great deal. It made change feel less risky and a whole lot more practical. And that is exactly why the Farmall 450 Diesel earns this spot on the list. It took the Farmall idea and refined it into something more mature. It kept the identity farmers trusted, but added more authority, better staying power, and the kind of diesel appeal that made more and more sense as the 1950s moved along. It was not trying to be flashy. It was trying to be useful, dependable, and worth the money. Still, as solid as the Farmall 450 Diesel was, the next tractor on our list felt less like a step forward and more like a full-grown field boss from the very beginning. Number 5. The McCormick-Deering Super WD9. Now the countdown starts to feel heavier. The McCormick-Deering Super WD9 was not the kind of tractor that asked for respect. It simply had it. For a lot of older Midwest and prairie folks, this is one of those machines they can still hear in their minds. It looked broad-shouldered, serious, and ready for the kind of work that separated lighter tractors from the true workhorses of the field. On bigger grain farms, or on places where tillage work was long, heavy, and demanding, a tractor like this could become the heart of the operation. This was the machine a family counted on when the job was too big to fake and too important to put off. And that is why a tractor like the Super WD9 lives on in memory. People do not just remember the machine itself. They remember the men who ran it, the fields it pulled through, and the seasons it helped save when the pressure was on. That is what makes the Super WD9 so unforgettable. It stood for pure diesel authority in the 1950s. It had size, weight, stamina, and the kind of deep working reputation that gave farmers peace of mind when serious pulling had to be done. It was not just a good tractor for its time. It was a tractor with backbone, built for hard jobs, and remembered for doing them well. And yet, the next machine on this list may be even more unforgettable, not just because of what it could do, but because of the way it sounded doing it. Number 4. The John Deere 70 Diesel. This is where the nostalgia starts to feel personal. The John Deere 70 diesel is the kind of tractor many folks can recognize before you even say the name. Its sound, its shape, and its whole personality made it hard to forget. For a lot of Midwestern viewers, this is the kind of machine that brings back memories of a father, an uncle, or a neighbor, someone who had his own way of starting it, running it, and talking about it like it was part of the family. A tractor like the 70 diesel was never just a way to get across a field. It became part of the daily rhythm of the farm. It might have been the machine a young boy was told not to get too close to. It might have been the one everyone listened for at daybreak, before the chores were done, and before the day full got going. And from the yard, it could seem almost larger than life. That is what makes a tractor like this live on in memory. It does not feel like history on a page. It feels alive all over again. And that is why the John Deere 70 diesel belongs this high on the list. It earned respect through character and capability at the same time. It had a reputation for real work, real pulling power, and real staying power. But more than that, it had identity. Farmers remembered it because it felt like a John Deere in the strongest sense of the name. Simple, bold, mechanical, and tied deeply to the land. And if the 70 diesel was memorable, the next Deere on our list felt like an even bigger statement, with more muscle, more presence, and even less room for excuses. Number 3. The John Deere 820 diesel. This is where the countdown starts to feel big. The John Deere 820 diesel was the kind of tractor that seemed to fill the horizon the moment it came into view. The minute you saw one, you knew you were looking at serious machinery. This was not some light-duty piece of farm equipment. This was a big, confident diesel from a time when size still meant something deeply reassuring on a Midwest farm. For many families, owning an 820 was more than just buying another tractor. It was a major investment, and it said something about the farm itself. It said the work was getting bigger. It said the fields demanded real pulling power and real endurance. And it said a family was willing to put its faith in a machine strong enough to carry that load. For older viewers, that memory is about more than the tractor alone. It is about what it means to have one in the yard. It meant strength. It meant ambition. It meant a family believed in its future. That is why the John Deere 820 diesel earns the number 3 spot on this list. It combined brute confidence with a presence that was hard to ignore. It looked powerful. It worked like it meant business. And it carried the kind of reputation that made people stop and watch when it came down the lane. This was the story of tractor that felt important the minute you laid eyes on it. But number 2 may surprise some folks, because the next machine brought a kind of diesel personality no one who ever heard it forgot. Number 2. The Oliver Super 99. The Oliver Super 99, especially in diesel form, had the kind of sound and presence that could turn heads from clear across a field. It did not feel ordinary, and it did not sound ordinary either. The moment it came to life, it gave off the feeling that something serious had arrived. For a lot of older farmers, that alone is enough to make it unforgettable. Some tractors were remembered for being useful. This one was remembered because it had real personality. On the farm, the Super 99 meant more than basic usefulness. It stood for big work, big confidence, and a farm that needed true pulling power. This was not the kind of tractor folks forgot sitting in the corner of the shed. It was the one people talked about. It was the one neighbors noticed when it came down the lane. And in a lot of places, it became part of local memories simply because it had such a strong presence. A machine like this did not just help with the work. It helped define the feeling of the farm itself. That is why the Oliver Super 99 earns the number 2 spot on this list. It brought together power, distinctiveness, and pure 1950s diesel character in a way very few tractors ever could. It had muscle, no doubt about that, but it also had drama, and that made it special. People do not just remember tractors that were strong. They remember the ones that felt legendary. And still, there is one machine left, one diesel tractor that, for many Midwestern farmers, stands above all the reset, the one that simply got everything right. Number 1. The John Deere 720 diesel. Now here's the payoff. The John Deere 720 diesel is the tractor that brings this whole countdown home. For a lot of Midwest viewers over 55, This is not just another classic machine. This is one of the tractors. It stands for a time when diesel power, farm pride, and hard-earned reliability all came together in one unforgettable package. Just seeing that familiar green paint and that solid stance is enough to bring back a flood of memories from fields, fence lines, and long days that started before sunrise. On a family farm, a tractor like the 720 diesel meant something real. This was the machine people trusted when the season was on the line. It was there for hard ground, long hours, and the kind of work that had to be finished whether a man was tired or not. It did not need fancy features to earn respect. It earned that respect by being solid, steady, and ready when it mattered most. And for folks who grew up around machines like this, that kind of dependability still means everything. That is why the John Deere 720 diesel sits at number 1. It brings together recognition, toughness, emotional memory, and true field reputation better than almost anything else from the 1950s. It feels right for the Midwest. It feels right for the era. And more than anything, it feels earned. That is what makes a tractor truly unforgettable. Not hype, not talk, just the lasting memory of real work done well. And even now, all these years later, the John Deere 720 diesel still looks like a tractor a man could trust. Those were 10 diesel tractors that did more than just work the land. They helped carry families, seasons, and a way of life that helped build the Midwest. Some were loud, some were steady, and some felt larger than life. But every one of them earned its name the hard way. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which one did your family run? And which unforgettable diesel did I leave out? Share your memories down in the comments.